Hello and welcome to Super Desperation Radio. Sorry we're late. A few technical difficulties called job and no time coming.
I was going to say fuck Skype, personally.
That too, but I came in on the tail end of that, so I don't know exactly what the issue was.
There's always an issue. It's just Skype. Skype likes to not work.
We should just always assume that there's an
at
issue.
the same time, I was gonna take up the reins to do the host, but just before this, about 6 o'clock, once again my internet started acting funny again. It seems to always happen once the weather starts getting warmer.
Your internet connection can feel it in its bones.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's like it likes
just
cold
starts
weather,
acting
but
up.
I don't know what it is. It's always usually around this time, which is the worst time for
Those
it to even
old
act
war
up.
wounds, man.
Yeah.
That old war injury.
Yeah. So expect me to disappear like 100 times.
Well, at least we won't all disappear and turn into robots like we have
Yeah, that's true.
in the past.
Oh, we fixed that?
I mean, hopefully. No problem. No promises on that.
At this point, it's part of the show, I think. We are
Oh, it's a hidden feature?
Exactly, it's an Easter egg.
Wow.
That's all the alternate character versions of us in the fighting game. We're all robot versions of ourselves every now and
EX
then.
Hell Pockets.
Yep. No batteries included.
Talks like a robot. Smells like he might have just crapped himself.
Dude, like, considering the day I had, I think I should start talking like a robot, because I think it'll get a better response from people. Because when you talk like I do, apparently it sounds a lot like you're threatening them. But anyway, I don't want to get into that.
Because I don't think anybody thinks you're threatening.
Right? They shouldn't be. I'm like the nicest
Especially
guy
with you, especially shaved Chris. Nobody's scared of shaved Chris.
Nobody should be scared of shave Chris. No, man. Ever since I lost his beard, man, everything's just been going wrong. Things have just been off kilter. It's terrible. Like I'm losing job offers. My daughter doesn't respect me. My girlfriend doesn't even call me anymore. When
I don't know that your daughter would expect you, really.
She keeps giving me that look that's just like, you hella stupid, daddy. It's all right. She's right. Anyway, what's going on with you guys?
Maybe one day. Maybe one day she'll respect you.
Hopefully.
It's been okay. I've been trying to psych myself up for NCR.
Trying to. You shouldn't
Decent
have to
time,
try
I think
to.
I'll have. I'm gonna be doing things, so I'm gonna just try and do what I can. I don't know if my internet cut out. Did it? Sounds kind of like it did.
No, it's usually there.
That's
Oh.
yeah, man.
Oh, thank you. No, yeah, I just I can't wait to go out there. I want to get all hands on with the things and the peoples. I mean, not so much with the games, whatever. That's completely different. Who plays video games in this day and age? I mean, come on. No, but I think it'll be great. So, if all of you are going in the chat, or if not, make sure people get pictures of me, and I don't know, I'll give you a hug if you show up and ask for one.
Nice
But
picture.
only if you show up and ask for one. This is a two-part. If you ask for one but don't show up,
Yeah.
I'll give you one. And if you just stare at him and don't ask for the hug, he's probably going to ignore you.
You don't want to get ignored
Anthony
by
just
walking.
sees people who are obviously our viewers and then just turns and walks away.
Well, they didn't say nothing to me.
Didn't say anything. Not my problem.
But I wanted to tell him how much I like his work. I just couldn't find the words.
Yeah.
Just starstruck, seeing
Yep.
Lord walk.
That's one thing I really don't like in like a lot of these things, like going to conventions or seeing movie stars or whatever. I mean, movie stars is a little different, but don't harass the people. But at the same time, they're just people. They're not, like some sort of famed Hollywood stars they might want you to believe, especially in these video game esports scenes. It's just like, oh, hey, don't be a nuisance, don't bug them. But if you say hi to them, they're gonna say hi back. It's not like it's gonna be that weird.
Yeah. Like I just
Normally.
saw a video where Dave Mustaine of Megadeth fame was apparently performing with the San Diego Symphony, and after the show, he got in his own car and drove himself home.
No way.
If that's not the everyman, I don't know what is.
All right, everyone, I'm going home. Here's my Dodge Stratus 2008.
There was no entourage. There was just nobody there. It was just him getting in like his van or something and driving off. He keeps it real.
You know, they put their pants on one leg at a time.
You don't know that. You can't even prove that.
That's true. Maybe they just don't wear pants.
That's also possible.
I can't even prove that I own pants at this point. But you mentioned NCR, so I assume we're all going to be there.
That's the plan.
You're making what?
I put plan in the biggest of finger quotes.
It's like bolded out like. So the plan is.
I put it this way. I've signed up.
They're gonna get as far as like I don't know, like Santa Monica. Like, you know what? Let's just go back. It's too far.
Oh God, that drive.
No, we should be there. We should be there. That is the plan. We actually have plans. It took me badgering until about 3 days ago or something like that to finally get an answer. But we have one, and we should be leaving. I believe Thursday night is the plan at this point. So,
of course, I'm going to be there helping administrate things. I'm pretty sure I have a room at this point. I mean, you know, if not, I'll still be there anyways because I'll just commute just like a job, but you know, on the weekend involving video games. You know,
it's not a job.
I'm depressing myself into the fact that I don't have a job, but that's beside the point.
Awesome.
It could be worse. I'm not sure how,
Really?
but it could be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please tell us.
I don't know. I have not thought that far ahead. I don't think I have that twisted of an imagination to think how it could possibly be worse than that. But
then again,
it could be plenty worse.
Hey, you could be a top player.
On my way. Once I get out of my, once I get out of my car, I'm going to be assaulted by urban bears at NCR and just get pulled off into the river and
just a pack of wolves, just roving wolves,
just in the parking structure. Well, there's those wolves again attacking another one of the visitors.
Shout out to Sacramento.
They're just hungry. They're not trying to harm people. They're just really hungry. You let one of them go.
They didn't mean anything by it. They just ate them alive. That's all.
Thing that happens in NorCal, don't you know?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Don't you know?
Roving packs of wolves. NorCal.
I just like how you.
I've definitely,
folks, guys.
You threw in the don't you know because we're in the north. We're not that far north, buddy.
Okay, so. Really honest, this is probably something that you see in SoCal sometimes. Well, I know V is on the same page, but I have seen far too many tumbleweeds on suburban streets, paved roads, and there's just these tumbleweeds rolling in. I'm like, man, is this that bad of a town? We just got straight up rolling, dried up roads, just kind of. Commuting. I don't know what's going on. There's definitely a highway.
This is what happens when you're in a desert. I mean, there will be tumbleweeds in a desert.
But I technically don't live in a desert. It's slightly. It's 2 inches more of rain per year above desert.
You kind of live in a desert.
Irrigation. I don't know.
Irrigation doesn't remove tumbleweeds, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess
it means that I can take a shower in the morning.
No, see what it is? It's your city planners. They're just like, hey, you know what this town needs? Some tumbleweeds. We'll call it their natural habitat. Nobody touches the tumbleweeds.
Yeah. It's oh, man, look at all this really, good soil for, the ground and all this planting and whatnot. And, too, I wish there was water here, though. That'd be cool. Actually, I wish there was water in general in California. It's getting pretty bad. That's another story.
It's just funny because I hate rain.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it when it rains. Oh my god! When it rains, especially if it rains pretty hard, not super windy, but just a really good rain. Sometimes I'll just get in my car and I'll just drive around town just because I enjoy the rain so much.
Dude, you are like the Charlie Brown of the FGC.
That's probably the best way to put it. It's it's okay. I see that Lucy is set up, done some like really punishable move. I'm gonna do my combo.
Oh wait, she yellow
no.
RC'd. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm dead. Story of my life. I'm gonna land the game-winning combo, and it was all merely a ruse. Some elaborate scheme in order to kill me.
Set up for that YRC. A lot of people are talking about YRC lately now. Like even Dasabro's talking about how great of an offensive move it is, and I'm like, dude, the other guy could do it too.
The whole thing on Twitter that's blown up about this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me because it's all just theory fighting.
Right.
Uh-oh.
And the Japanese who actually have the game and play the game are talking about how it really isn't that bad. So I feel like it's a few people having opinions and then a lot of people overreacting to those opinions is what's happening. Which, just sounds like the fighting game community at this point, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that guy's got an opinion. Let's dogpile either for or against that opinion. It doesn't really matter.
Well, we do have a thing to do.
We don't have to have any sort of gray area.
We don't even have to try the game first. It just looks weird.
I think that's the biggest thing. Is it's new, it's unusual, and people are trying to figure out applications of it, and some people think that those applications are too good. I think that's it.
I think Yellow Roman Cancel definitely brings something to the table and kind of functions the way, FRCs work, but at the same time, you got to remember that you're not going to be able to FRC on hit or block. You can't LORC on that. You can do something to set it up, but that's just kind of, I don't know, helping you get in or get some sort of pressure or make some sort of weird move safe to get people to do things. But at the same time, you're kind of losing a lot of options because you don't have the FRC to kind of just like get you out of jail or to analyze the situation to see did they swing into this or what's going to happen. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like in one ways it's really good for the off, but at the same time there's the checks of not having something like an FRC. So I think some moves have like the purple or blue Roman Cancel, which is kind of like that.
Well, it still costs 50% though is the thing. So.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I feel like in one way. In some ways, it's really strong.
Tony?
But since you've lost another option, you can't just kind of go willy-nilly with a lot of your strengths. It's not like you're going to YRC, right?
I don't want to slow your roll here, but you just like Skype censored 80% of that.
Really?
Yeah, you were in and out for most of it.
I heard actually all of Anthony's.
You might have to repeat that is all I'm saying.
I don't know. Can you host, Chris?
Can I host? All right, I'll host. Sorry, folks. Skype. Being the
Hey!
All right.
So much better now.
Now, what's
I think not only was my internet bad, but also Paul's. So.
Well, everything seems to be a lot better right now.
Yeah, it's crisp and clear for me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So what were you saying?
About what, me?
Yes, you were talking for the entire time, but we couldn't hear it.
Okay, so, how with the removal of FRC and being able to do things like that on block or in a block string, because you can't YRC in a block string, right? When their block or hit's done, it's going to be a Roman Cancel. So it'll kind of start your offensive or, certain things, but for the most part, it's not going to be I'm just going to YRC out of everything. Everything's only 25 meter. I'm going to go crazy. So there's checks and balances to it. You gain a really good beginning offensive option, but at the end, you can't just kind of go incredibly crazy. So
I'm listening. Sorry, it's just I need to stop looking at chat because I'm going freaking spoilers, man. But yeah, that's I think they did a pretty good job knowing what they had to do with yellow Roman Cancels. They knew that it was going to be you know, abusable, I guess, in a certain sense, because you know we've all seen the videos of that chip that just fucking did it 4 times in a row and he got
Yo,
it.
that chip don't care, man.
Exactly. Why should he?
I love that. Like, it's so good. I don't think it's broken, but I just think it's like, why not? Like, just go for it, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I can't use a super right now, and he's coming in, and I didn't DP, so
Wait. Chip has supers?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
So you kind of just, you know, you play the hand that you were dealt, and luckily for YRCs, you get 4 of them. But it's no chain shift.
Oh, you mean original chain shift?
Original chain shift.
Chain shift is that's tops. You know,
That's that, like, you know, I need to make a sandwich real quick and come back and beat your ass. Like, slow down.
that's putting on the Ritz. It's just like, I'm gonna do it whenever I feel like it. I don't get it all the time, but you know. Hopefully, Mom stocked the Ovaltine and got the grind grid all cleaned up.
The old man, look at that meter gain, dog.
Yo, you tell me it's a Roman cancel that gives me meter?
Oh, baby.
I mean, sure, you lose out on Vorpal, and that's like 5%, but your combo does extend probably like another like 1,000 or 2,000 damage, so you're good.
Yeah.
Don't let. Oh, I really want to play Under Night In-Birth. Why are we talking about it?
Why does this always happen, guys?
It's just the sad cycle continues. Like, oh man, Under Night In-Birth is such a dope game. It's got all these cool mechanics. It's like, God,
It's really like you guys just want to ruin your own lives because I
Yeah.
don't bring it up because I know it's a waste
And
of
then we
time.
think
The
like,
game's never coming
man.
out. You guys need to accept that. It's like the Rumblefish 2.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man, no, these people.
It's not happening.
Oh, my God. You know, I can't even doubt him at this point because every time I try to go check up on it, the developer is literally saying, yeah, we got nothing.
Yeah.
Play the
Oh,
Dinky
my-
Puck.
No, the last
Probably
time I said
because
they were
of-
dying.
It's probably all Dengeki Bunko's fault. It's like, oh, we got to work on this game.
Sorry, guys, we got to make money. That's
Look, they gotta put bread on the table. I understand.
Also,
It's
didn't
like,
we agree to call it by its Japanese name, which would be Dengeki Faku?
What?
That's what I said.
Yeah. Chris and I were talking about this.
Yeah, last a couple weeks ago. You didn't know about the shorthand version of I'm not even gonna say the name anymore.
Oh yeah. I saw people started calling it DFC, also, but I don't know.
This fucking crap.
Wow. I mean, the game doesn't look very impressive to me, but I'm sure to other people there's some merit to it. So I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's one
I
of those
don't-
games where it's like, you know, there's some anime games I won't touch. I won't speak ill of them until I've actually sat down and played them. This one just does not speak to me in a visual sense in any way.
Hey, you got to remember, man. This isn't an anime game. It's a light novel game. Okay.
I don't know what that is.
It's worse, man. These are books we're talking about. This
Books?
is some
What the
ultra nerd.
What the fuck is books?
It's those things, you know, like it's like made out of like that weird material, like kind of like money, but not as rough, and it has like words on it or
It's
something.
like that worthless money
Yeah,
because somebody tagged all over him.
but yeah, there's definitely some games that are just like what was that one? I can't even think of the name right now because I completely shut it out of my mind. The only thing I could think about is Tone was playing it while by himself, and everyone called him the Sad Life Player.
Was it the kid? Was it kid?
Yeah, Aqua Plaza. That's the one. That's a game. That I'm not
Oh,
gonna
water
play.
pizza?
Yeah, that
Pizza.
one. I'm
You know,
sorry.
actually, I sat down and watched some kids play Water Pizza at one of the Rebel Ups, and I was like, you know, this game doesn't seem that bad. It's got some interesting things to it. Some of the characters look unique, and then I was like, yeah, this ain't for me though. Like,
Yeah, like, I can see people are gonna like these games. That's perfectly fine. But
Yeah.
it just to me, I'm sorry. I'm just
like, all right, Tony, I think
Hey,
you'll back me up
this
on
game isn't
this.
so bad, but I'm never gonna play it ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Tony would back me up on this 100%. We need another fighting game, like a one-on-one fighter that happens to have a gigantic cyborg gorilla versus dinosaurs.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
This is the aesthetic that I need. Like, just give me, you know, some heavy pokes. You know, overheads mean something, but it happens to be big lizards. Just give me King of the Monsters 3. That's all I'm asking.
King of the
Just make-
Monsters on just like a two-dimensional plane, no ups and downs.
Oh, you don't want the wrestling style?
Oh, I mean, maybe that'd be fine.
I mean, that was all right, but like, I want like make it a legit fighter, not like King of the Monsters or the PS2 one that was what was that War of the Monsters?
Oh God.
Yeah.
That game was actually pretty tight. It was fun. It was
For
fun.
gods.
No.
No, that game was not fun.
What about the Godzilla Destroy All Monster ones? Those were okay.
Those were all right.
They're
but,
more of a fan service kind of deal, not really for the gameplay.
Yeah.
But they were terrible. They were just
like
really
I just want the aesthetic of like it's cool. Like we got all the anime tropes. They're handled. You got the entire spectrum. Do you want the heavy light novel bullshit? That's covered. You want degrees varying into like more esoteric anime references. You got your Gears and your BBs. That's fine. You got your deepest, darkest pits of like Lovecraftian moe bullshit, which is Arcana Heart.
Ugh.
And then I want to go on the opposite end of all that spectrum and just be like, could we have a dinosaur fighting maybe a gigantic dog with 3 heads or something?
Mm-hmm.
Also a robot? Who knows? Like seriously, could we just have like a Pacific
Alex,
Rim style fighter?
I don't know if you know this, but they made a dinosaur fighting game. Didn't really turn out that well.
The second version of Primal Rage was actually decent.
And it had
And-
a gigantic monkey farting. That's pretty sick.
Yes. The only reason the original Primal Rage didn't take off is because it had that really awkward input system, which was corrected. Because before you had to hold the button down, then do the motion. It had an unscreened stun bar, guys. It was breaking barriers. Like, it was fucking treading new ground.
That's something I really do wish was in more games, just like an on-screen stun bar, and then stun that actually mattered. That's just like, because like if you think about things like King of
like
Fighters.
Street Fighter 4, where getting stunned doesn't really matter because you actually take less damage than you would in any other point in time.
Yep.
Yeah. Or in King of Fighters, where it's like, I'm not gonna stun anyone unless I actually do a stun combo, and it's like, well,
You
What
just
was the
gave him a
point?
bunch of meter.
because like I feel like stun rolls down way too fast. Like I really like the third strike speed. You could see it. It drops at a decent pace. You have ways, certain characters can make it lessen or whatever. But I think that was a really good thing. And then, if you got stunned, it's like, hey, you messed up, dude. You got hit way too much, and now you're going to pay. So.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, there
But yeah.
definitely needs to be a happy medium between the ST, I got comboed and now I'm dizzy.
What do you mean
and
I
the
got
King
comboed?
of Fighters. King of Fighters, I never get dizzy unless it's the longest combo ever.
I really like you gave ST too much credit without did I just eat these 2 random high value stun hits in a row? Not combo.
See, that's the random. Like, the worst is when you get thrown into dizzy and ST.
Oh, you
That's
just feel
the
like
worst feeling. 'Cause you're like, I
actually
just
wanna die.
double lost.
That shit didn't even scale.
I think 98 did it.
I lose.
Okay.
I got thrown into being stunned. It's GG. That was a go round.
Oh, like
I
when
had fun.
Ocho stunned you and you're like, really?
No, if you actually get stunned by it, it's two Ochos and I think standing roundhouse stuns you. Stuns the entire cast, no matter what. That's how much stun is on that command throw.
It's like, oh man, Kyle just did 2 sonic booms in a combo, and now I'm stunned.
Oh no, he's doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there does need to be some... Stun needs to be important because, as it is, most of the games now, it just doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, especially in KOF, when you would play KOF, like, say 11, right, and you stun somebody, it was actually just, like, kind of, like, standard. Like, if your combo wasn't stunning them, then you're fucking up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, hey, this kind of fits with the system because, like, I'm spending all these resources to kill this guy, and now it threw me a bone, All my hard work is paid off. I can take it easy now. He's almost dead anyway.
Plus,
I
you
like
got
that I like that stun system.
Yeah, I mean, I still say that third strike is probably the happy ideal, but with the way certain stun mechanics work in the game, it's a little silly still. Lots of like characters like Makoto, it's just like, hey, did I hit you and they mix you up once? Like you're done.
Give you the neutral.
Or were you just like at a certain character at a screen specific thing, and I had enough meter? You're gonna get
Wait, what
stunned.
do you mean hit you then mix you up once? If you got command grabbed and she had super, she could dizzy like half the cast.
Yeah.
That's true. But
are you guys up? Like, if he grabbed you anywhere near the corner, you
I
were
was gonna
dead.
say if you get
Well,
neutral
yeah.
grabbed a bunch of times, like sheesh.
It's like, all right, let me just for the sake of reference, were you near the corner? You're stunned if the Makoto's good. Were you Akuma? You're stunned if you got hit.
Yeah, well, that obviously is character specific. I don't know.
For the longest time, it was like, yeah, Chun is like the only character she can't triple fucking uppercut into Dizzy, and then some guy figured it out that there's some sort of weird glitch with how the screen shifts, and people can do it now.
I was like, yeah, I'm the best.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the name of the person that did that?
What?
Exactly.
Oh,
Forever.
Nobody
forgotten.
remembers anything. That's why fucking discovering shit's it's irrelevant.
dude, I discovered this combo that someone found out in 2011.
But I
All right,
couldn't
so
use
go.
that tournament.
All right, so ground cross-ups in Street Fighter 4. You can't see this, but I'm pointing both thumbs at myself. I'll link
But
the video
question,
if
Alex,
you
the
want.
real question, Alex, is did you save that shit for nationals or did you share it with the community?
I shared it with the community, and I proceeded to win 3 tournaments.
Wow. So apparently, you did what Japanese players do, but what America doesn't do.
Yep.
What?
That's interesting.
Are you telling me that a player went overseas and discovered things we should already know?
Perhaps that happened.
Huh.
Are you telling me that Nihon does what Amera don't?
What you say about Nintendo?
Wow.
I was like, and this is the thing that PR Balrog Eduardo went over to Japan and he said that Japanese players are more willing to discuss things they find and share them amongst each other so that everybody gets better, and that America doesn't do this and it's stunting our playing growth, which is true in some regards and not true in other regards, because there are a lot of examples of this not being true. Of course, we always have the old school save that shit for nationals mentality, but how much of that really holds true anymore today?
I don't know. In an age where we're always trying to share information about fighting games, like, somebody's always trying to communicate new tech either through YouTube or whatever, I kind of feel like in that sense, it's not true, I think there is an attempt to convey information at least. I just don't know if there's, like, an attempt to make it stick, I don't think people are really saying you should be doing this every time they don't do it,
Yeah, I know what you mean, because, like, it kind of goes back to, like, let's use Hanzo Gonzo for an example. He's released a lot of information on his YouTube channel, and a lot of it's really good, and then, like, eventually you see people start using it more recently, but this is stuff that he found, like, a long time ago, and it's, really good. It should be the standard, but I feel like maybe there's a lack of communication of what people should know, just on certain videos. But at the same time, I think there's a level of complacency of where it's like, well, this is fine anyway, so I'm just going to keep doing that, and then as people adapt, you're going to learn that you're going to have these other techniques. So I think there's like a level of, there needs to be, better conveyance of the communication aspect of what the, new technology or whatever they call it.
Stop! I think
is.
calling it that.
It just kind of rolled out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
Here's the interesting question. You bring up Hanzo Gonzo, which is a good point. Is it that the information isn't out there or being conveyed, or is it that people are unwilling to listen to non-top player, huge finger quotes, sources for this information?
Honestly, yeah. Like if someone who was your top player said something, I'm sure everybody would eat it up. And yeah, it's people brush off a lot of stuff. Like I'm bad at King of Fighters. I don't really haven't played or whatever, but I understand it to a fundamental level of what people should be doing. And yet, advice that I would give to someone would probably, less accepted than if someone like Reynold was to tell the same thing. So, it's definitely people are like, well, who are you? I'm way better than you. I could beat you. So obviously you don't know anything. And it's like, just because someone can't do what they're saying doesn't mean that they're incorrect. So, but yeah, along with that, I just think there's complacency for the most part.
I think you're exactly right, is that people need to realize that just because somebody isn't the best player at a certain game or title doesn't mean they can't have invaluable information. Mm-hmm. It never being bad does not preclude you from having intelligent things to add, which is why a lot of people, when I was coming up, would tell me that it doesn't matter who you play, even if the people you're playing are worse than you, if you're taking something out of it, then it's just as important as playing a good player. But I don't think that's perceived as true today
I
at
think
all.
it's because a lot of times people go to these things and they don't get anything out of it, even if they're playing people as good or if not better than them. So I guess by default they assume if they play people that are worse than them, they're not going to be able to. They're not going to give them anything worthwhile. You know. Like
Mhm.
But that's just the fault of people not knowing how to learn.
That's also true, and it's also a communication issue. You know, some people literally just don't talk.
Yeah.
You know.
There's some things that are some pretty bad habits within the community for the most part. One of them is thinking critically, which is one of the most important things you need to have in a fighting game. And I think that people don't do that. Like, in general, just in society itself, people are not critical thinkers, and that's really a big problem. Another part is that I don't think they analyze enough when they're doing things. You know, they're not like actively trying to pick apart what's going on. It's like, oh yeah, I'm winning, but why am I winning? You know, obviously some of it could just be really easy, but you know, even a bad player will have something strange that they'll do that might be something that you've done. You got to think, why did this happen?
Did you seriously just ask, like, you know, you don't have to ask why you're winning. Obviously, it's because you're the best.
Oh, right. It's like, what I learned today was, and he has like a whiteboard, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm the best player.
I'm the shit, underlined, bolded, and circled. Like, that's why I'm winning.
And sometimes you get that momentum behind you, so like, you know, you may end up doing better than you normally did. But I think a lot of people, like, in a maybe like a small social setting, they might be willing to talk to other people. But say you go to the run back and you're playing some guy and you're like, I kind of want to tell him to do this, but then I might sound like a dick, like I'm superior to him, and he may take it the wrong way, and then all of a sudden I'm an asshole, and who the fuck am I?
That's actually a pretty interesting point you bring up, because it's kind of hard to share information without coming from a point of, hey, I'm better than you.
Right.
So I tried different ways to do this, and one of the things that I found to be most effective is I would ask them why they did X. And if they gave me rationale that sounded like it was decently thought out, or even if it was legitimately stupid, there was some sort of logic behind it, I would then talk to them and try to give them my viewpoint. If I got them,
Yeah,
I would
did
be
it
like-
because it felt right.
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
that's one of those, like,
Oh,
I'm
man.
going to really question whether or not I'm going to go further with this conversation.
Yeah, because you might just be wasting your breath. And then somebody like you just doesn't decide to say anything, and it's a 50-50 on that, if that guy was even going to listen anyway, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, but there is, I mean, in addition to it just being, you know, putting yourself as the teacher and them as the student, especially in tournaments when there is something like money on the line, it does become about personal pride more than, say, when you're just playing in a casual matchup.
Yeah. But even in casuals, do you really think that there's a good line of communication between the two players? Because I just feel like people are just in there to get their 2 out of 3 and then they tell them, get up.
That's kind of the problem, I think, is that there isn't, but that's where smaller communities used to be more important, is because when you were playing with your friends, you could talk shit and share things, and it would be, you know, in the dialogue of a friendship where, yeah, we're just putting each other down because we know each other, so this doesn't actually mean anything. This is actually me trying to help you in the long run.
That would actually be really cool to have at like a casual event, like something at like Super Arcade, just on some random night where you would play a match and, I don't know, have something, record it, and then from that you can have peer review or something, you know? People would break down what you were thinking.
I've discussed trying to do that several times. I know Vi has wanted to do that in the past. I don't know if it ever happened, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I know that they were talking about doing that, where they would have people play matches, and then they would do like you're saying, where they would have like a peer review after the fact. But I don't know that it ever happened.
He did it once or twice, and that was it.
I guess it really depends on if people really want to learn. But good advice for people that want to play games or just live life is that you got to remember that everyone in life is going to be a teacher in some way, whether it be something that you want to do or something that you don't want to be. Just to make sure that you analyze and think critically about everything that's happening around you, because sometimes you can't take things for face value, and you know there's lessons to be learned anyway.
So, while we were talking about sharing things, and I'm glad you brought up the Hanzo Gonzo thing, because, I mean, people don't obviously listen to him because Carter's a raging jackass.
Right, a little bit.
He's a smart
Little
raging
bit.
jackass, and he's done his homework, and he knows his game in and out. So, I started looking at a few things. I'm going through my own YouTube channel, and I'm going through that one website that talks about fighting games. And there's this really interesting thing about an unblockable Elena glitch in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Like, I don't give a shit about this game, but I think this video is really neat because it's well explained and it's a really interesting glitch. But the guy that discovered it, Lord William 1234.
Oh, dude, Lord William. Yeah. He's almost as well known as Rocky Rose.
Like, I hate to say this. Like, this is probably going to be one of those cases of, like, people look at the name and it's definitely, the fuck are you? Yeah. And this guy's definitely done his work, and it's really neat. He's even covered ways that people could escape it and how to beat that option. Like, it's really thorough. But let's say, this was a different player's name on this. Like, Friendly Champ was on here, and suddenly it would get more views. Like, you have to realize that, for the most part, top players might be really raging dumbasses. And I've mentioned this before. Some of them are really bad at explaining why they do things because they've internalized it so much that they don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, they just can't. They would seriously have to sit down and maybe write things out as if they were like, like maybe make bullet points. Hadouken good. Keep away, yes.
Hey, you know what? That's actually a really good idea. People really should just have a whiteboard next to the cab and writing down that stuff saying, like, he does not block this in this situation because if he does, I got this going for me. It's like a freaking John Madden pinpoint bulletin board,
It's funny. Speaking of things you hear about strategy, people always talk about the best way to play Fireball characters in Street Fighter is to use fireballs like a poke.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Nothing to me because I
To
know
most people, that does not mean shit. You actually have to break that down,
I think
or else it just becomes like this platitude that's worthless to a lot of people.
Yeah. I think the problem is, though, is that it's because people still don't understand fundamentals at a core level. Like, use Hadouken like a poke is like, okay. Like, when I see Chris playing, it's like, when he was playing Super Turbo, you were going a lot for low forwards into fireballs, and it's like, no, you need to understand. Fireball, you should just think of it as like a high priority poke. You could just throw them and not throw them without having to, combo into them or cancel or anything. It is a good move that controls space and, has lots of properties outside of just canceling into it. So, people need to just understand that it is a move that you could use with little recourse usually, and then if you think someone's going to punish it, much like playing a fundamental game, you think someone's going to outfootsie your low forward or whatever, you just don't do it, or you do something else to try and beat it. It's just a lot of things to be thought about, but the simplest thing...
In situations like that in Super Turbo, and I don't even play Shotos, so my explanation could be possibly wrong. I would say you use low forward into Fireball, especially in a block situation, to prevent the opponent from reacting to your low forward and moving after that. It basically holds them in place and gives a little chip damage. And then you reset the situation and you're back at neutral, whereas normally your low forward by itself would be slightly negative.
Yeah.
And then they have the option. So
yeah, plus,
you're not just doing it because I do this here.
Yeah. Obviously, you want to be at that low forward range, but even then, low forward will also probably help create some space between you and the opponent. There's always a reason for why you need to do things. But sometimes you just need to go back to Yomi Layer 1 and just do the simplest thing possible,
Is Yomi Layer 1 chess 2?
No, I think that's... But yeah, like...
Is Miles Wallace off of work? Can you tell us the days without a chess 2 incident?
It's probably been,
sorry, man, I had to do it.
6 days probably, almost 7 until the last. Like, are we counting business days only days of the show, or is there just like we went a whole week without
the show? I'm afraid then.
If we could go over a week without mentioning chess 2, I think that would be pretty amazing, considering each show is a week from each other. So if we were to extend past that,
we had like 2 weeks where we didn't mention it.
Did we like skip a show or something?
No.
I think we actually had stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we actually were busy.
But yeah, I mean, I think people need to actively want to learn how to play in order. It doesn't even have to be a lot of people. Just lots of different viewpoints and anything that you can advise.
Yeah, I think an interesting perspective of this is one of my friends was telling me about people who would pester him to try to learn Guilty Gear.
Mhm.
And he would get these guys who were like, yeah, I really want to learn Guilty Gear. I want to learn this character. And he'd be like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? He's like, well, I want you to tell me what all I should do in this situation. And he's like,
Jesus.
what? Like, I can't tell you how to play the game. He's like, I can explain some basic combos and tell you and break down certain normals and why you use them. But if you want me to give you one answer for why you should always do this, then you don't understand how to play games at all.
I just want the Encyclopedia Geartanica that just, it has every single information that I need to know how to do in every situation. I essentially want someone to have already broken down every single little bit and piece of information, so I don't have to think at all. I just need to regurgitate,
Yeah, dude. This
Exactly.
would be the
It's
fighting
like,
game
I need to be a
equivalent
robot.
of net decking.
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
the fighting game equivalent of the SAT.
For the
Yep.
people that might be unfamiliar with the term, net decking refers to people that would play like a card game, be it Magic, probably the most prevalent one. And just be like, you know what? I don't want to come up with my own deck idea. I'm just going to see whatever's the most popular or effective thing on the internet and take it verbatim.
I don't know how to do this, but they told me that this is why it's good, so I'm going to do this. Oh no, my setup is all trash. I'm losing.
I heard this Kokonoi character is good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to play blue-black control and counterspell everything. Well, I'm out of counterspells.
The thing I hate about the Kokonoi player mentality is that, like, when you see a lot of just, like, the people who picked her up because it's a good character, it's like, dude, she's such a good character. If I do this, it's going to happen. Watch me do a 1.8k B&B and get nothing off it. It's like, man, what are you even doing? I see the same
But
thing.
she's good.
Yeah, but she's good, though. It's like, if you want to play that, you can play any character you want. Just keep landing those B&Bs because you're not doing anything, like, what the character should be doing. You
But I
just-
think, actually, now that you mention it, I think there are certain characters in games that you hear that they're good, and then you play them, and they're good, and they're also very intuitive. Like, you
Mhm.
think it, you do it, and it works. Like, Mr. Karate is one of those characters where you're just all like, man, I really want to play Takuma because he's got a great jump blowback, but he has no anti-air. And anti-airs aren't really that good in this game, but oh man, the options off of this guy's anti-air,
yeah.
and they're not even hard, and it got great damage.
Well,
It's like, yeah.
I think there's
No, he
something to be said for hard reads where you want to play to the situation, but you're going to find that pretty much all the best players do not live and die by hard reads. Guys
Yeah.
like Daigo, of course, they've made a name for themselves on those hard reads, but there's so much more behind that you don't see that, is the work that they've put in, knowing where they should be on the screen and how they got to that position where that hard read isn't really that hard of a read. That was something they just were pretty positive was going to happen.
Yeah.
I would to kind of go further into that. The reason that they have the opportunities to make these hard reads is that they contain the game into these situations where they are forcing the opponent to make a decision. Like, their gameplay is so structured that they can just go into hey, I've basically dominated the ground game. I am now going to bring the game into a crapshoot where you have to choose. Am I going to walk up and throw you for the billionth time in a row, or is this going to be the one where I DP you for trying to tech a throw? And it's because he's gotten such a command of the rest of the game's aspects that he can keep going for these reads. Like, this isn't just like, yo, I'm going to play Geef and I'm going to empty jump grip every time and call it a read.
That dude's just like extra spicy ginger ale. Reeds.
What?
Wow.
Reeds is a bottling company.
Wow. That just sounds
Those
absolutely
references.
terrible.
I'm not a backpacker. I don't want to hear it. I'm glad Lewis isn't here.
You're a backpacker, dude.
Hell no.
You're a backpacker.
Oh Lord.
At least you're not an Ember Spirit picker.
I don't even know what that is.
Don't worry about it, Chris.
Don't worry about it.
Wait, Chris, you played MMOs. What am I? Yeah, Jesus.
He doesn't know anything. And that's kind of the thing. It really isn't as simple as saying that U.S. players are individualistic. We don't share information. And, Japan is the opposite. There are a lot of different ideas and factors you have to consider when you understand why perhaps one scene is more developed than the other. And then there are a lot of other things that we don't even, that weren't even brought up into this conversation, like the average player distance from one another, lack of centralized places to play. There's so much more that actually goes into why, even if US is behind Japan, which on a top player level, I can't really say that it is that far behind Japan, if it is anymore. Not in Street Fighter 4 at least. Maybe the average player in the United States is well below that. That's fine. Yeah. But again, there's a lot of different reasons why that is.
Like you were saying, he's speaking that he went to Japan and there's a lot more information going around. But I think they have a larger yet closer knit player base because they still play in arcades or they get together and do things because they're so close. Why not? But like if you see certain things like when they have like a Japan East versus West, they usually will have some differences in play styles because it's not like all of Japan knows everything. There are groups that are going to convey this information. Maybe it won't get conveyed until they have like an East versus West, but there's still some isolation between all groups. It's just I feel like they have a larger player base that is there to win and to play, and while money big tournament winnings is on the line, they still got to pay for those arcade games. That doesn't get cheap.
One thing that bugs me is the sort of idealistic way that they view, or we end up viewing another culture because of these excerpts that people have of their trips to Japan or what have you. Because it's like, not all of them are like this. Like, they're not all this land of milk and honey where we all share information and we're all nice. There's obviously douchebags. Yeah. Much like we have here in our communities that we have in the States. Like, I'm not going to just, idealize this other country because, X situation. Like, just from footage that I've seen, the more I understand of Japanese, like the more Japanese that I can understand when people are speaking it, the more I realize these guys are being jackasses on the commentary. There was definitely some Third Strike footage I watched where they started imitating another player's voice as if he was Mickey Mouse, complete with the laugh. I started picking up what he's saying, and they're like, "Oh yeah," it's like, "Hey, what happened to him? Why didn't he show up this week?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm an idiot." And making the noise, and I'm just like, Jesus.
And I just want to point out they talk that way because they listen to us.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's all because of us.
Like specifically Super Desperation Radio.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
I'm gonna parry on wake up, get thrown 9 times in a row.
Oh man, a down parry.
Sorry, Japan.
Dude. And then there's also, like, let's also be real. We've definitely seen their forums, which is equal parts good information, and here is an assy art depiction of a certain American top player as an ape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I've definitely seen a lot of just random posts, not maybe even about fighting games, but just in general on the internet. I'm reading like the translations and stuff like that. I'm like, wow. They're just as stupid as everywhere else in the world. Like, we're all a bunch of raving lunatics on the internet.
Well, there's
apparently.
only so many different directions your mind can go into when you dedicate it to playing fighting games most of the time. Eventually, it's gonna default to being an asshole.
Yeah, and then we've even seen we've all seen the video, the Virtua Fighter, the guy playing Eileen just like circle strafes the guy the entire time, and he gets so mad, he runs the clock over and talks to, and then he just throws a chair over the arcade cab because one guy was being a jerk in the game, so the guy got really frustrated outside of the game and decided, I want to take some physical violence to this.
That dude was ripped.
And then you always have to compare it. Like, look at it in this. For Topanga, obviously Eduardo was the only U.S. player over there. So, of course, he's going to be treated as a guest. And as much as, in the past, whenever the Japanese came to EVO, most of the people who dealt with them, it was very much, you are our guest. We want you to feel as good as you possibly can. So, of course, people would be welcomed by that because you're being treated exceptionally.
Right.
Whereas, now when Japanese players have started to come over, now that it's become a more commonplace thing, you get tournaments like Final Round where people were yelling at, Kusoru. And there was the Seasons beating where Marin yelled in the camera after beating Daigo. Things that I will not repeat on this show. So it just becomes how it's being approached.
Yeah, That's what I wanted to bring up about PR Rog's his post was the fact that a lot of it seemed to be coming from the standpoint where they were just trying to give him a good time.
And that's totally cool.
Yeah, it is. But I think in that sense he might have and he's not the only one that's ever done this, but he's given somewhat of a false image of what it looks like, because I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Like I'm sure there's plenty of information shared. People are friendly and whatnot, but I've definitely heard plenty of stories where, some people just don't even get talked to. Like there was an issue when BlazBlue was young, and Dora apparently was writing strats down in book form, and the community was like, "Hey man, what are you doing? Are we telling people that shit?" Because they didn't want nobody. They didn't want to get out. And I'm like, Dora was like, "What are you talking about? Why are we not doing this already? Somebody's got to write this book. I gotta just give them the green level stuff. Don't give them the blue plate special."
Yeah. I don't know.
So it's worldwide.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there are people that are more open, but I imagine at the same time, while they're not the big areas, I'm sure this place is anywhere else that's not coastal or that's famous for fighting games, and that they probably have close-knit communities that have good information going around from each other, but we never see it just because we don't see them. But I'm sure that this stuff happens and they share as much as they can, but at the same time, there are people that aren't going to do it, and it's going to happen everywhere.
There's only one exception. If you're a VF player, you don't learn shit.
They did a decent amount. I mean, at least you can pretty much learn everything from the game itself anyways.
Yeah, but once the primer's over, they're just like, you're on your own, buddy.
Yeah, like once things like ETG and all that stuff comes in, and I hope you know this fundamentally since it was in in the game.
Version A before you came in. You might have won if I had taught you in a new style.
But I will say this, is that I don't want to take his experience away from him, and maybe by going there and seeing things like that, maybe he will be more open to trying to write down, perhaps what he knows about Boxer. Like put it down, use the setups that, talk more about the setups he uses, talk about the way he plays more, and share that with the community more, because he's obviously the best Boxer player on this side of the world, if not in the world overall, and I think he very well could be, honestly. Yeah,
I mean, also another thing about PR Rock is that, he plays very differently from a lot of other people too, so seeing the inner workings of his mind might be really nice to see why he does this.
Well, I think he's one of those players that's just like, he won't do something that doesn't work too often, like he'll be able to realize like, hey, this isn't going to work. And a lot of top players will keep beating their heads against the wall, because it's either all they know how to do, or they're just thinking maybe he won't expect it the third time in a row,
Yeah.
Like, a good example of this was Reynolds in KOF finals at SCR, and he just kept going for that overhead mix-up, and Candelito blew him up 3 times in a row, went for it a 4th time. But Boxer, PR Balrog, I think, he can do that. He's already moving towards that stuff because he's already got that stream that he's been doing whenever he's at home, and he's just, interacting with the crowd. And if people care to watch and learn stuff, then I'm sure he's down to tell them something. He should be, like you said, he should be inspired to do so now. But it also goes back to that argument: are people even open to learning?
Yeah.
Actually, all right. So one of the things I was doing while I was going through all the stuff on SRK is I was going through my own YouTube channel, because I was reminded of something that we watched this weekend at Civil War, where I saw somebody play AE Bison, and in front of a whiffed DP from Dudley EX, so he fucking flew sky high, teleported. What was he trying to do there, Tony?
Ultra?
Yeah, exactly. So what's the input for Ultra for Bison now that it's standardized for both? It's charge, back forward, back forward.
Yeah.
And of course, if you ever hit a diagonal in any of those motions, you're going to get the accidental teleport. April 1st, 2009. I made a video that shows you that you can hit any of the up directions, any of the diagonals, and you'll never trigger teleport, but you'll still get the Ultra because they count as back and forward.
I think I've definitely seen something like that. I might have actually just seen your video.
Seriously, every time I watch somebody miss a Bison Ultra, I want to throw up.
I mean, it even goes back to the whole, how do I punish, Snap Kick or Rekka from Bienimaru Oriori? You guys put in the work, and I still see people getting away with murder out there.
And people
Wait, did we finish that?
we
think-
went far enough for people to know that they could punish
the snap
Reckons.
kick definitely got finished. I'm pretty
They're
sure.
both finished.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go us.
people know this stuff, and this is something that just keeps killing me because I made a prediction earlier this week on Twitter, and I was bullshitting, but I was also 50% serious of who the winning team in Evo would be, and people were like, "How come EXIORI's not on there?" Because I'm like, this fucking guy ain't got shit if he tries that gimmicky shit, the gimmicky crap.
Yeah.
We told you why. Nobody's punishing it. Everybody can
Actually,
punish it.
And I will say, watching Civil War, I watched a good portion of AE Finals, and I really thought Arturo and Ski did a really good job breaking down matches, and I just thought it was a good commentary. It's really hard, I think, to start doing AE justice if you want to really get into the detailed stuff, but I thought they did a really good job with that.
You thought Ski Sonic did a good job?
Yeah.
You're just breaking it down. I wasn't paying too much attention to the commentary. I was mostly just watching it. But from the bits and pieces I did hear, I mean, it sounded pretty good.
Well, I always think they do a pretty good job. And that's just from a standpoint of somebody, if I was coming in there cold and I didn't know anything, and I feel like watching, somebody like Ski Sonic would be a good experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I probably wouldn't get everything, but I'd come out of it with some sort of an idea, versus a lot of other times you watch a stream and you come away from it kind of entertained, but you're just like, I learned nothing,
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing about it is that Ski's caught a lot of crap in the past, but this is a guy who really, as far as Street Fighter 4 is, you don't really see him play the game much anymore, and he might, I'm not sure, but he really knows his stuff about the game.
Yeah.
And that shines through when he talks about it, especially when you have somebody else who has the longevity that Arturo has had and just the number of games under his belt.
Yeah.
I thought they did really well.
And if you're thinking about that and kind of going back to the whole I only listen to top player mentality or something like that, that's some information that people actually think about is, do you really think that somebody goes to the defensive coordinator on a football team and be like, well, I don't see you stopping their line, why should I listen to you?
You ain't on the field doing this shit,
You're
man.
150 pounds, 5'7". Why should I take your advice?
Unless you're fucking hardball who'll be like, I'll show you how to stop the line shit. Fucking John Hardball, motherfucker.
Yeah, so it's just, don't just make sure you try and learn everything from any game you play if you really want to get better. Especially even your losses, you can analyze why you lost, and it wasn't just maybe you made a mistake, but there's probably a lot more that you can just analyze, wins or losses. So just try to, like I said, critically think and analyze what's happening. When you're
From a
playing.
personal standpoint, I used to, when I actively practiced and gave a shit, I used to mark, mentally make a note of how I lost, what exactly hit me, and then backtrack from there and how I got to that position.
Yeah.
My train of thought for any kind of instance where I needed to deal with something that was beating me was, how do I beat it? How do I punish it? Or how do I avoid it?
Yeah.
And where it was I just died to low forward for the billionth time because I dashed into a Shoto. I'd be like, all right, let's backtrack. Why was I dashing at them? Oh, because I was at a life deficit. How did I get there? Oh, because I keep jumping like a jackass. Let's stop. All right, let's cut that shit out and let's see where I go.
Yeah. Even for my own personal matches, back when I went back and looked at a stream at Southtown, I just kind of looked at my own game. And so if you have a recording device or if a game has a save function, your losses, you should really look at them, because looking at it from a third person perspective of your own play really opens up a lot of doors about seeing what you're doing and trying to get rid of the problems. So.
And I'd like to actually talk a little bit about, that's what Alex and I try to do when we've done commentary in the past, is not just talk about the moves on the screen. We start to try to talk about player tendencies in the match and why they end up the places they are.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you can discern a pattern of somebody in a game or a round, and this is why they're losing, it speaks more to a problem in their mental process and how they're playing the game.
Yeah.
Then I'm just not doing the right move. It's well, obviously you're just running and jumping in 100 times, DS. This is why you lose at ST every time.
But you mean jumping isn't the best option? Oh, no.
What else do I have?
I want to jump, but I can't jump. But I have to jump, but I have to jump, but I can't jump.
Why? I'm trying to jump.
Beguiled
My
dilemma.
jump's getting hit. Maybe if I jump this time, I won't.
This is
Oh,
where
no.
that- This is where the inner city mentality comes in. When you're like, you trying to tell me I can't jump? Watch me, motherfucker.
And that's what it becomes. It's like good commentary breaks things down, not just, and I mean, it can do things on the most technical level, but it can also talk about player tendencies and why the match is evolving the way it is. And that's what good players do on their own. They'll go back and watch their footage, and like Alex was saying, why did I get here? How did I get here?
Yeah.
And you work back from that.
Sometimes you gotta go back to the drawing board, man. Like,
Yep.
you can start out strong. You're like, okay, doing all right. Didn't block that one thing, but he didn't capitalize. And then, sometimes you just get frustrated watching yourself, and you don't know exactly how you can fix it. So you have to start over. And I think people should be willing to do that, because if they're losing all the time, the notion of starting over should be attractive as hell.
I mean, I think we should all look back and use this man as an example. A certain Wile E. Coyote. He was a genius. That dude knew how to do things.
He was the best theory fighter ever.
But what was the thing he didn't do? As smart as an individual as he was, he never stopped buying from Acme. If maybe he would have got a competitor product or used his own technical knowledge to make something himself, maybe he would have gotten the Roadrunner at that point. But unfortunately, he kept making the same fundamental flaw by trusting a company that has poor product.
Because the roller skates are made in China.
So yeah, even the smartest of players can have the most stupid of tendencies or bad habits that if you just...
I'm right here, dude. You don't have to...
If you just remove that, if you just stop playing Alex and just started playing...
Whoa, hold on. Okay. We're going to draw the line here. So, my stupid decisions have nothing to do with my character choice. Because I've taken bad characters with good decisions into a realm that they should never be in. Actually winning.
That's fair, but you could make bad decisions and play Chun and still win.
Nope. I'm just saying, you know what would happen if I played Chun? It would open a world of stupider decisions for me. Because now I have such an array of options that would be like, you're telling me I have
legitimately have to take all of Alex's tools of fun away from him and make him play the most boring character in the game, and then he'll win.
It would be like, oh, wait, Chun, you mean I can do 2-frame jab, standing link jab, back into 2-frame jab, and then cancel that into super? It's like, yeah, you could just do low forward super and it's way better. No. Let's go back to the really hard one. I want to show off.
I want him to remember this.
Mm-hmm. It's like, sure, I could just do back fear super, but I'm not making a statement.
We
Alex,
lost in the crowd of Chun.
just sitting there, just thinking, how can I beat this guy using only crouching heavy punch?
I gotta be me.
Hey, you just gotta be me, dude. You just gotta be me.
No, but I'm not saying, that's necessarily a bad choice being a character loyalist or anything, because definitely people who have taken bad characters and just thought smart and did lots of good fundamental things, you can still win. If you don't get hit, but still can hit the other guy, even if you're not doing combos, you will probably win. If you don't take any damage but hurt the other person even just once, you're going to win the match. There is a timer.
And that is actually a good point also, because I feel like a lot of people, especially in modern games, feel like if I hit them, I'd better be comboing,
Yeah.
I don't want those single hits, because that just makes me look stupid.
All right, I need the B&B, and I need it to do the highest amount of damage, no matter how difficult it is, but I don't need to know how to set it up, because I'm only going to do this one normal that's going to guarantee me the biggest damage possible, and then I lost. But that one chance I got to do that combo, oh yeah, I dropped it because I went for the optimal one because I made a bad decision in my life, and I didn't even learn that. Oh boy!
I'm really glad you brought that point up, because I think Paul has definitely seen blood come out of my eyes when I watch people play Slayer. And it's like, oh yeah, they got the anti-air jab, and they're going for the instant air dash fear, and they've dropped it. Yay! So we've forsaken all potential damage in corner carry and knockdown for the maximizing of damage at the beginning. Excellent.
Yeah.
That really is an issue I see in Air Dashers more than in any game ever. Is people who are constantly trying to do combos they do not have the ability to do in tournaments. If you want to do that in casuals and try to get your execution up and try to get, the optimal, totally cool. I totally understand. When you're playing in a tournament, sometimes you got to just keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, one of the first things I did when I started playing more air dashy type games, because I played Alex forever. His combo is knee chop, and maybe jab 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 super, and that's into the realm of the advanced. Like we're at the
man,
end of the
jab 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 super.
Yeah.
Now you're stretching, man. I don't know.
Like I'm Mike Dawson over here. I'm stretching. I ain't doing that shit. But when I started playing like air dash, it's like, oh, I got to learn all these combos. I just kept it really short. I was like, what do I want from a combo? I want decent damage, maybe positioning, meaning I can carry them to a corner, and a knockdown, so I can do whatever willy-nilly stupid shit I want while they're getting up. And then I found how to get that simple combo from every possible starter. It's like, hey, standing jab? Yeah. Down S? Yeah. Crosswise heel? Yeah. And then when my execution caught up, I was like, all right, maybe I can start expanding on it. And I can start doing stuff that does more damage, is a bit more demanding, is character-specific, is position-specific, is meter-specific. I've trained my brain to recognize these things as a path, as opposed to like, all right, I hit this standing jab as an anti-air. I now need to instant air dash on the first possible frame, hit jumping fierce, dash on the other side, another stumping jab, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? No! Stop it! Bad. Like, somebody needs to go, like, could we have the dad fucking coach for fighting game players? Like, I'm sick of the guy, the ring man that comes in and whispers in the ear and tells him Hail Hydra. I want the dad with the rolled up newspaper.
You want freaking Shanghai's dad?
Yeah, I just want the rolled up
Pull off
newspaper
the
dad
belt.
where it's like, where like some guy goes for like a, really high damage optimal combo that's incredibly hard and he drops it and just comes up and beans him in the back of the head with a newspaper and you're just like, I know what I did wrong. I didn't even need an explanation. I know exactly what I did wrong.
Get your head in the game, boy. No, I think that's the best way to describe it, because I think a lot of new players come to these games and they see what they feel like they should be doing, and they just go right in for it. They dive right in, and they totally skip over the middle part that everybody has been spending the last 2-3 years developing to get to the point that they're at, and they're making all these awesome combo videos, and they're just like, oh, I got to do this. I'm like, nah, man, you gotta start slow.
Let's bring up an example, and let's talk about back in the day. The self-proclaimed best bang player in the world, Dacid Bro.
Wow.
At EVO, definitely made it to top 8. I think he made it to top 4. In a bang mirror match versus Tokido, he lost to someone who did fundamentals and B&Bs.
And did no hard shit.
Yeah.
Nope. Dacid had that hard shit down too. Like he's somebody to reckon with, but
the fundamental aspect of Tokido's game just, proved superior than I got good damage off a hit.
Yeah.
So,
Better player. The better player is going to win, not the better combo.
exactly.
But,
you know how it goes. That's just how it is.
yeah, I mean, people, like we were saying, people don't necessarily have that discipline to learn the way they want to, or they haven't understood their flaws and they haven't reflected on it enough to be able to see what is wrong with their play. It's hard.
It is.
I mean, not to put my boy on blast here, Paul, I think you are incapable of watching yourself play.
I am actually, but I admit that, and I know that's a problem I have.
Yeah, like, even if you can't listen to anyone else, if you are able to go back and review the tape of yourself playing, you can probably at least listen to yourself and be like, boy, who's this dumbass playing the game? He just did straight up nothing.
We have like an intervention for Paul where we just find Johnny footage of himself and then
God,
find
it's
other
so
Johnnies
bad.
that play the
So
same color Johnny, and then just like mislabel them and be like, yeah, you should just watch them. Maybe tell me what they did wrong. Where did
I'll know exactly which one's me. I play different from everybody.
That's good.
Right.
At least you know that. A lot of people can't even break
Yeah,
themselves
like,
out the
I mean,
lineup.
at the same time, I don't think that you're trying to be like, I'm going to get top 1 at majors in Guilty Gear.
Top one.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the big
No,
numero.
I definitely don't have those delusions.
Are you
But I mean,
talking
like,
about me
you
talking
really
about
do believe that you need to be able to accept criticism from either yourself or from other people. You know, there's.
Completely agreed.
But I mean, if you're just someone who wants to play and get better casually, and you might be stubborn or whatever, you have to remember that if you're putting these limits on yourself, you're not gonna be the best. You have to be open to any suggestion, whether you listen to it or not. The suggestion box is still gonna have suggestions in it. Some are good, some are bad, some you don't want to listen to, but you should always at least think critically about what someone has to say, or what you might have to think about your own play, and consider what's going on.
That's right. And everybody else, if you're your friends, should be willing to do that for you. So everybody, go to Sammy Fish's Twitter, tell him why he sucks.
Damn, that's hateful.
I'm just kidding. Love you.
All right, but moving on, we do have not a lot of time left, but I just want to mention a few things that happened over the last week that are pretty important. Another Smash Brothers player got signed by a big esports team. Team Curse signed Chillin' Dude, which obviously I don't know a lot about the Smash scene, but after Liquid signed a couple players and now Curse, this is pretty big for them, I would say. I'd say the last year now has been a huge boom for the Smash community, and it seems to only be getting bigger. Just snowballing for them as weeks and months go by, and it's great for them.
Definitely. I mean, you gotta think about it. Like, who are the fighting game Team Liquid players?
It is Sephiroth, Ken, and Korean DJ are the ones.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's like
other than them?
No, I just mean that's good for the Smash community and all that. I mean, these are organizations that have never even checked into anything that was even remotely close to a fighting game at certain points, and just people are expanding their repertoire.
You think Liquid could get into Capcom and Air Dashers and other stuff?
I think they could, but I think at the same time there has to be kind of a bigger thing for it, because obviously Smash Brothers is still a part of MLG, right? People play it at those events, so they're Liquid's going to be there. There's established main.
It's a bigger stage is what it kind of boils down to, because obviously I don't know if people remember this, but when Tekken 6 was in MLG in 2010, Complexity actually picked up Crow, Core, and Mr. Naps for that entire season of MLG, which people conveniently forgot when Complexity Cross Counter got signed, and they were like, "This is the first time Complexity's ever signed fighting game players." And no, you need to walk it back a few steps because Tekken was there first. Mm-hmm. But there is that big stage for this, and it's not to say that EVO isn't a big stage, but EVO's a very niche stage.
Yes,
because that's within the fighting game community. MLG is across gaming communities, because MOBAs are there, fighting games are there. FPSs have been there. I'm not sure if they are right now. It just brings more people into it. So I think that's part of it. Moving on from there, Strong Style is coming back. Thank the Lord, pass the bread. Strong Style 5 is this September. And if you even like Tekken a little bit, you should show up. Because Strong Style 4 was the first one I ever went to when I first moved out to California, and it was an awesome event. It's a scene that's really dedicated, and it was a ton of fun. Getting to see the people break out the original Tekken Tag Tournament and play that again, and that was probably a more exciting tournament, even though we had some of the Korean players in for Tekken 6. So,
and it's not going to be streamed, right?
No. As of right now, Strong Style will not be streamed at all. There might be some recording, obviously, because that definitely happened when the last one, and they recorded commentary over some of the matches too. But obviously, that was before streaming was a huge issue. So
so be there or
be
square.
It's San Mateo, California. I hope to see everybody who enjoys Tekken there.
I'm going to try and make it out there. I mean, I probably won't play because my dabbling with Tekken ended at 3 and started again with Tag 2. And, I haven't had a copy for almost a year at this point, but I got another one recently. So I'd at least like to play and understand the game more at a fundamental level. But I think it's just going to be amazing anyways. Plus, it's totally close to home. I can make it out there and not be too much of a problem.
And I'm hoping to see a lot of old Tekken players come out of the woodwork, because they did for Strong Style 4. So
that'd be great.
It would be nice. It'd be Strong Style 4 was like a reunion, and I'm sort of hoping that Strong Style 5 is the same. Anything else happened this last week?
Actually,
Cup. It was good. Daigo was in like top form until he played Xiaohai.
Wow, what happened with that?
Xiaohai's Cammy just.
He's playing Cammy now, huh?
He's been playing Cammy for like 2 years.
I just keep seeing him play Gen all the time. Sorry.
Xiaohai.
Oh, I thought
Not
you said Shen. Never mind. When you say Xiaohai, I'll automatically think KOF. So I'm like, oh, you can't be talking about that Xiaohai.
No, he played Street Fighter 4. He's played Street Fighter 4 since last year, or before that, actually.
That's just how my brain works, man.
Get your head right, Chris.
I've had to face him all the time in the brackets, man, at EVO. I almost beat him last year.
I think something we need to discuss very quickly is, so with all these Smash players getting signed, I think we all need to pick up the new Smash and rake in this esports money.
Well, not necessarily the money. I think that.
I mean, to be fair, I actually might buy a Wii U just for new Smash.
Well, the 3DS
Little
version is coming out.
Mac.
It's coming out in summer, and it makes me think with the negotiations between Evo staff and about having Smash there, and with the 3DS. What, did the streams go down?
Yeah, because fucking XSplit, man. Cutting my balls.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, man.
Oh boy!
This is why you actually investigate these things, Chris.
Ahead to the 15th.
I'm pretty sure it's on Philippine time.
Fuck.
Wait, did your license expire?
Yeah.
It hasn't yet. It's like
Holy shit!
All right. Anyway, good night, folks. We're still recording locally, so I can still upload it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's true.
Did they
Well, I was about to say, maybe we'll see the new Smash at EVO on 3DS.
That'd be cool. But as we are locally recording this at this point, I can't really say anything goodbye, but I will anyway. So from everybody here at Super Desperation Radio, good night and good luck.